Hi, and welcome to Wrong Way. And today it's about time we will compare jump pads. Lots and lots and lots of jump pads. So let me tell you more about it. Wrong way. And before we get into the video, a quick disclaimer. I got pretty much all of these pads here that I've tested on my MSP and other wheels sent for free to check out, to show you guys on camera. So that is something to let you know. And for some of those, I do have also a discount code. All of the info is below, and I do receive a kickback from these orders. And in this video, we will only take a look at jump pads specifically, so the 3D printed pads that help you with braking, with acceleration, and also with jumping. Now, a bit of a time ago, we also had, power pads that are just here on the top of the wheel. By the way, these ones I bought from EUC guy, and these are probably the highest quality. Let me focus. These are probably the highest quality side pads I've ever seen from EUC guy. I've ever seen. They're really awesome. Nothing really compares to the quality of these. I also did try a lot of, jump blocks and other like accessories, jumping karambits and stuff. But in this video, we'll focus just on this sort of side pad. And make sure you also stick around till the end of the video, because then I will share with you my favorite side pads that I currently own. If you never tried any jump pads or side pads like these, let me get you up to speed what they're basically for. First of all, they basically lock your feet here on the pedal, so in case there would be a pothole or you suddenly jump on the EUC, then you won't just fall off of it. The foot will stay in place and it makes your ride safer. Second of all, they do help you with acceleration and with braking, since you can get your feet locked here and you have a bigger leverage on the wheel to accelerate. So you no longer need to just like squish the wheel or like lean super hard forward and have the possibility to slip off your pedal. Now you can actually lock your feet in, lean hard forwards and just go, which is awesome. They do also help you to jump with the wheel, because you can lock your feet against this and this block here, and then you can just easily lift the wheel up, jump over curbs, and also make insane jumps like Mike Leahy, at some point at least. But do you really need a side pad like this? Well, you can also get foam and cut it out, so make a side pad to your heart's content with whatever shape you find ergonomical for your foot. You can also check out Kuji's video, How to Jump Any Wheel, where he shows how to make these. But if you want to have like something that looks a bit cooler and has a shape that was like tested by others, then it's pretty cool to have side pads like these. It's also quite easy to take them off with Velcro, and this is another tip right away. I would never advise to get side pads with double-sided adhesive tape and glue them on to the side of your wheel, because you will move them. There is no way. It's not possible, at least for me, it wasn't possible to get these in the right position. Sometimes I like them a little bit lower, sometimes a bit higher. People like to have them like more up here to lock their legs, not necessarily their feet. So just get some Velcro. I usually get the harsh part here and the mellow or soft part here, because sometimes I can just also take them off. Yeah. And ride without any side pads. Now, to properly mount side pads like these, I usually get the pedal up and try to position them somewhere in the middle of the L hanger, or just a bit in front of it, and then put them in place, mostly flush, and then I can still close the pedal. And this is mostly how I just place them on the wheel. So your foot here in the front is locked, yet you still don't touch the front part of the side plate yet. So there's just a bit more wiggle room to your legs. However, I also sometimes, just cut them in half, like these ones, and then I can spread them further apart, move them around a bit. So in the end, it's your leg, it's your riding style. You can have one more forwards, you have one more backwards, higher up, lower up. So in the end, it's just the best to put them on Velcro and try what fits you best. For me, as said, usually it locks around somewhere here this part is along the L hanger and the back part wherever my foot is locked in place. So maybe even I get a shoe. So if I just get a shoe here, you can see it's pretty much locked here in the back, here in the front as well. Maybe I would move it just a bit more up, but that's more or less how it looks like. But as said, feel free to move them around. Maybe you like your foot just a bit more to the back, like Choo tries a bit. So then you can like move them a bit like that. It's important to have it very snug in place. It can be also like difficult to put your foot in. For example, if I put them just a bit lower, it's a bit harder to put it in, but then you get into the groove and it's easier to jump. So, you know, that's my tip for how to mount them, but in the end you have to try it yourself. Anyways, now we will get into reviewing every one of these pads I have here. I have Sai Pads, Clark pads, Hulaj.Market flex pads, the torque pads. So because the Sai pad is already here on the wheel, there is a 10% discount with the wrong way code. If you want to get any of these Sai pads, I'll show you also different models that they have available. Tried all of those for a while, and here is my verdict on them. So these are the Red Trails jump pads. These go for around £95. You can check their pricing on the site. And these pads are just pretty good. I enjoyed riding in those. I have them right now on my MSP. I was riding in them quite a bit recently. They have a nice amount of space here for your legs. Here in the front there's also quite a bit, not as much as I would maybe like, so I like usually this part to be a bit further apart. They lock you in nicely. The material could be a bit squishier. It's a bit squishy, but not maybe as much as I would like. This part is quite annoying if you like to wear shorts, as this is quite a harsh texture here, so you can just ride in like longer pants in these. I like the jump pad section of it, and there's also a hole here so you can keep your pedals in place. The rear block I would like just to have it a little bit higher, since usually the front part of my foot is a bit lower than the shoe here in the back. But other than that, they're pretty cool. Their material is pretty good, and they also come in different colors. However, I don't think it's like the most durable print. It's like in between, I would say. So yeah, this is the Red Trails jump pad by Sai Pads. Pretty good. I would say it's a pretty good choice. The pricing is also okay, so yeah, can't go wrong with these. Next on the list we have the Governor XL by Sai Pads, and these pads are mostly designed for bigger wheels. As you can see here, this is already over the shell of this MSP, so mostly for like the Monster Pro and the Veteran Sherman. Kate really loves these pads on the Veteran Sherman, and I also like them a lot. In terms of the shape, very similar to the what were the Red Trails jump pads. I think they're almost a bit wider, are they? Not really, they're as wide as the Red Trails jump pads. They also have this cool groove for keeping your pedals in place. However, here I can show you that it felt a bit of times, and the 3D print here is falling apart a bit. So this is what I mentioned you before about the durability of these pads. They also come in different colors, and they also have like this texture here, which is quite annoying if you wear, you know, thin pants or just shorts. But other than that, pretty good pads, pretty solid. The price of them, £100. Oh no, these are actually these are the Red Trails XL pads. And therefore £100 if you want to have a pad that has like just a bit more space here, because this is how it compares to the regular version, well, like this. Yeah, they're just bigger, that you have a bit more room here. However, I would like them to be just a bit more squishy and have just a bit of a different shape like the torque pads. I'll show you later. I also cut them in half. It's not broken. I cut them because I wanted to test out different angles of these pads. The XL pads have also this huge wall here for accelerating and braking, which is great. Your feet don't hurt when accelerating and braking hard because there's just a big surface area to do that. All right, let's get into the next one. So these pads are the Sai Pads Urban Star. They are the smallest pads I have from Sai Pads, so they fit pretty nicely to like even a Galway M10. If you have a child and it rides the M10, it's a pretty good choice. It fits the MCM5 and a Tesla really well. And as all of the Sai Pads, they have also a pretty squishy wall, so it's no problem to fit them on wheels that have like an angle on the side. In terms of the pads themselves, the wall here in the front is a bit smaller, which is a bit annoying, and the biggest problem for me is that this rear wall is very, very small. Like, compare this to Red Trails, like it's sometimes actually it does hurt if you brake really hard on this pad. Nevertheless, it's kind of cool to jump with them, but they don't have any ball or like any stronger element here in the back. So if you jump, you just move on the side pad, which is a bit annoying. And they also have this texture. There's also a little something compartment here, and yeah, this thing already broke, so that's that. But yeah, they also come in different colors. For smaller wheels, for, I don't know, children, pretty cool option, I would say. But if you want to have a pad on a bigger wheel and want to use it for jumping, for trails, I would probably go with something else, since it doesn't lock your foot entirely. There's also not that much room here for your foot, front and back, so it's a bit harder to get on your knees on the EUC. Basically, when you accelerate, you immediately hit the pad, and if you brake, the same thing happens. So not my favorite pads. They do their job, and they're, I think, a bit cheaper. Yeah, they're 70 quid, but 70 pounds. But if I had a choice, I would go with something else. Now we move on to the next pad, which is the Hulaj.Market Flex pads, and here I have also the Wrong Way logo. I think if you talk to Hulaj.Market, you can also have your own logo here. This is just a 3D printed cap, and there's a big something compartment in here. I think in terms of quality, they're the best that I have here. Like, the 3D print is very, very nice. They're a lot more stiff than the other pads, but it's just really awesome. Like, it looks really good and screams quality. Also, you can see it fell a couple of times and it looks really good. They're really similar in terms of like shape to the Urban Star ones, but they have a bit more space here on the top. Also, not my favorite pads. I like to have the ball here in the back as well, and they also have this 3D printed plate in the back, and in the other ones, actually, don't know where it happened, this thing actually broke. So I don't know from what, maybe it was like a nasty fall, but that hadn't happened. That's the only pads that actually like made this after a fall. So they are also quite thick on the top here, so it's not so easy to mount them on a wheel that doesn't have a flat surface, and that is also why I put this thing initially. Now I have it on all of the pads. It's just basically some furniture, I don't know, rubber with some Velcro on the back, because if I don't have that, this edge is quite annoying on your foot. So if you have these pads, I advise you to get something like this furniture rubber thingy, because then your feet will hurt less. They also have like this concave here, which makes your foot lock on nicely, which is great. But in the end, I don't like that much. There's not enough room here to go on your knees. I missed the reinforcement here in the back. I love the quality. It's really awesome. Like, the print is very, very refined. You really get what you pay for, I would say. And they go for this amount of money. In my opinion, they're also just a bit not squishy enough, especially if it's colder outside. All of these pads get harder, but these just become really stiff. So if you use them, probably better to have some, shin guards, because then, oh, it's so hot. Probably it's better to have some shin guards or some additional, this sort of thing here in the front and back to make it more comfortable. Also, the braking part is just a bit too small for me, in my opinion, so yeah, these are the Hulaj.Market. These are the Hulaj.Market flex pads. Oh, and the Hulaj.Market flex pads don't have any ridge here to lock your pedal. All right, so now let's move on to the most expensive pads that we have in our comparison, and these are the Clark pads. And you know, you've probably seen a lot of people rave about them, but my opinion on them is like just could be a bit cheaper. So first of all, if you look at the print here, it's quite ugly actually. Like the ridges are very big. You can see all the you know, print layers on the pads themselves. I just don't see. They just don't look as premium as, for example, the Hulaj.Market print or the torque pad print. Like maybe it's like some sort of reinforcement, but it just doesn't look that good in my opinion. There's like a bit of residue here on the top. So yeah, even the Clark pad logo doesn't look that good. So yeah, maybe it's like a technical thing to do, but it doesn't really scream quality for me. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't know. I also got these pads from EUC, so huge thanks to EUC for sending them over. So the Clark pads also, as the only ones here in this comparison, come with like 2 pieces, so you can just connect them together. And they came with the double-sided tape, which you know, I never used because I put the Velcro on there. And I didn't put Velcro here, which probably I should, but therefore the pads just move back and forth a lot. So if I accelerate, they sort of move a bit. Probably it would be better if I put Velcro here as well, but it just seemed a bit too much of a hassle for me. So you can also like adjust them with these parts here. Which turned out to be a bit annoying to me. I mean, I tried it in this position, I tried it in this position, but mostly I liked it like this, or like this, or like this. So actually I would have to like cut these things off, and then it would be the optimal position. I like the width of them a lot. I like the squishiness. They're really squishy, and it's nice to accelerate with them. However, sometimes even a bit, oh here, you see that's what happens. It just like moves back and forth a bit too much. I'll put that away. Let's see. Does it get better? Yeah, a bit. But as you can see here, the top even has like this angle going out. So like going out. So it's easier to take turns. I like the looks of them. They look pretty cool with like the red Clark pad logo. In total, the Clark pads, pretty expensive. I think they're like 140 or 150 pounds at EUC. The squishiness factor is really good. The ergonomics of them are also quite good because they lock you in place really nicely, and you can also like mount them wherever you want. I think that maybe the front part is just a bit too squishy, and they move away from the shell too much, especially if you don't have the Velcro here. And all in all, I like riding in them, but they're just not my favorites. So now we move on to my favorite pads, which are the torque pads, and they're awesome for many reasons. They're also shipping worldwide, like pretty much all of these pads, 3 to 5 day shipping, and they are for I think 130 or 120 euro. And for additional upmark of 15 or 20 euro, you can also get the wrong way cap. You also do support the channel then, so that's pretty cool. It's not my like signature pads or anything, but it's just the torque pads with the wrong way logo, and it's very hot now in Warsaw, come on. I like these pads the most for many reasons. First of all, they are very squishy as well, but they're not as squishy as the Clark pads because there are these reinforcements here. So they move a bit, they have a bit of give, but it's not like too much. Also, another ergonomic thing is that this part is lower than this part, just like your shoe. You can see that, boom, this is cool. And I can even put them a bit lower and maybe ride like this. and then they won't close up, but you know, you have more rigidity for jumping. There's also a lot of room in between here and here. So if I put the, let's see, the Hulaj.Market pads here, you can see how much more room is here for your foot. So I'm a rider that likes to have his legs like move around quite a bit, like to go on my knees and stuff, so this is pretty great. Not everyone likes that, and if you don't like that, you probably would have to go with something that is a bit, you know, locking your foot in place, like the Clark pad or the Sai Pads, but this is by far my favorite setting. This part is also flattened on the bottom, so it's better to grip with your shoe and your foot. I also like the design. I think the ridges are very cool, and as I said, it comes also in different colors. They also have these removable caps like the Clark pads. Oh yeah, I forgot to say, the Sai Pads don't have that. And they also have a ridge for your pedal, which is here. The back plate here, or just like the back of the pad, is very flat and nice. It's not, doesn't have these ridges as the Sai Pads. It's also very thin, so it's easy to mount it on a unicycle that has a, you know, rounded shell. And they're also very thin here, so don't really need this on the top. However, I always advise to have a bit of side pad action here on the top. I really love the shape, and yeah, these are like by far my favorite pads now, and I would put them on any wheel, like on the MSP, on the Monster Pro, on the Sherman. They are just my favorites, and I think Devastato uses them as well now. Cheers, Devastato. So if I made my pads, I would probably change a small bit of things here, maybe like separate them or change the angles just a bit or make them wider. They're pretty wide still, just as all the other pads, or also like the Clark pads. But yeah, these are just my favorite pads, and I just put them on any wheel. I have 2 now, and probably I'll get more. So this is my side pad comparison. Let me know if you liked it, and if you did like it, subscribe to see more content like this. I'll see you in the next video. See you soon, and I'm sweating. It's just so hot in here.